Cathy Park Hong, Minor Feelings, An Asian American Reckoning. Dive into the intriguing world of Minor Feelings, An Asian American Reckoning by Cathy Park Hong, where the complexities of identity, race, and belonging are dissected through the author's personal experiences and observations. Uncover the challenges faced by Asian Americans, often caught in a purgatorial state between Black and white identities, and experiences that are often ignored or dismissed. Through reflections on moments from her life and the examination of the stories of other Asian Americans, Hong's engaging narrative unravels the contradictions and complexities that encompass what it means to exist as an Asian American in the United States.
The Complexity of Being Asian in the United States. Cathy Park Hong's Minor Feelings. In her book, Minor Feelings, Cathy Park Hong delves into the complexities of being Asian in America through her personal experiences. During a poetry reading in Wyoming, Hong realizes that Asians are often ignored, regarded as neither Black nor white. They are simply in a purgatorial state where their identity is poorly defined. Hong's encounter with a therapist who dismissed her after just one session further emphasizes the feeling of being unseen and unheard. Hong balances her personal experiences with broader cultural events, like David Dow, a 69-year-old Vietnamese American being forcefully removed from a plane. Dow had fled Saigon in 1975, yet the media chose to portray him as an everyman with his Asianness deemed irrelevant. This perpetuates the idea that Asians are not considered a minority in the same vein as Black people. The book stresses that despite having dissimilar family backgrounds and varying levels of privilege, Asians in America still share self-hate and shame. Assimilation may be seen as a solution to this complex issue, but it begs the question, what happens to their identity if they quietly disappear into American society? Minor Feelings offers a profound and thought-provoking exploration of the difficulties Asians experience in America. Cathy Park Hong sheds light on what it means to exist as neither Black nor white, feeling ignored and misunderstood. Richard Pryor's impact on the author's battle with depression and race. The book describes the author's experience battling depression and race issues, which Richard Pryor's comedy helped her overcome. The author explains how Pryor's stand-up routines brought light to how race affects a person's life. She shares a concern for minor feelings, manifested as negative thoughts toward oneself due to race. Though she admires Pryor, she notes that his binary view of race excludes Asian people. The book also touches on the LA race riots of 1992 and how they affected Korean immigrants. The author suggests that writing about race is both polemical and lyrical, filled with complexities and contradictions, but there's no denying that race has a significant impact. The complexities of growing up in an Asian immigrant family. The Catcher in the Rye is a classic novel that portrays Holden Caulfield's obsession with his lost childhood. However, Min Jean Lee's pachinko author, Catherine Hong, suggests that childhood is connected with innocence and an Anglo-American thing. She explains that growing up in an Asian immigrant family is a complicated experience that contrasts with Holden's idealized childhood. Hong's father grew up in poverty in Korea, eating sparrows he caught himself. He eventually found success as a businessman in LA, but the harshness of his journey remained hidden. Similarly, Hong's grandmother escaped North Korea with a child on her back to move to the US years later to help her daughter with childcare. Hong's memories of her childhood often evoke feelings of fear and shame, unlike the idealized innocence portrayed in The Catcher in the Rye. Therefore, the key message is that the Asian immigrant experience is a complex journey of its own. Finding her voice. Poet Cathy Park Hong shares her journey of finding her artistic identity through her relationship with the English language and her female artistic friendships. Cathy Park Hong, a poet, found her literary identity through her adversarial relationship with the English language. She experienced difficulty in learning English at first due to being surrounded by bad English as a child, which eventually became part of her literary identity. Hong relishes bad English and even includes it in her poetry to challenge how we hear the language. She uses it as a tool to other English by eating it before it eats her. Hong collects pictures of badly translated Asian signs and menus that advertise roasted husband. Hong found her artistic identity through her female artistic friendships while studying art at Oberlin. She and her friends, Aaron and Helen, created fascinating and imaginative art together, which helped them find each other's voices. Though Hong initially chose art over poetry, she ultimately chose the latter. She returned to her fraught relationship with the English language and played ruthlessly with tone to the language. Hong's story is not unique to Asian American poets. She shares the tragic story of a predecessor who also experimented with language in a similar fashion. However, what sets Hong apart is her complex relationship with Helen, who was hugely talented but mentally troubled. Despite the rift caused by Helen's use of Hong's poetry without permission, Hong remembers the confidence and arrogance they shared in their artistic endeavors, a feeling she has never been able to recapture in adult life. In her artistic journey, Hong shows us that art is a process of constantly finding and shaping one's identity. It involves embracing the good and the bad, including our adversarial relationships with language. The strange silencing of Theresa Kyung. In the book Dictee, Theresa Kyung created an enthralling blend of art and poetry, a masterpiece of her career, before she was raped and murdered by a security guard on her way home. Despite the public record, Cha's death remains a forgotten story, a fact stranger given that social media accounts mistake photographs of Cha's sister, Bernadette, as hers, stereotyping all Asians as looking alike. Cathy Park Hong discovered this baffling silence when Dictee was assigned to her class, and her teacher only referenced the crime offhandedly. Despite asking for an explanation, people offered only a respectful explanation or a desire to focus on Cha's work. Yet the question remained, why her death remained unpublicized. Thanks to Cha's story featuring wartime refugees, several Americans could find common ground in it, but the silence about her murder persisted. The conditional status of Asian Americans. The term Asian American was coined in 1968 by students in California, but despite its widespread use, Asian Americans still hold a conditional status in the United States. Author Cathy Park Hong explores the history of Asian Americans and the horrors they faced, including internment during World War II and the Vietnam War. Additionally, Hong touches on the societal pressures placed on Asian Americans to excel and the ingratitude some feel towards America. The chaotic effect of American influence around the world caused much of the Asian migration, but this does not mean that Asian Americans belong in a world defined by whiteness.
As we reach the end of Minor Feelings, an Asian American Reckoning, we are left with a clearer understanding of the struggles Asian Americans face in defining their own identities in a society where their experiences are often overshadowed by binary racial categorizations. Through episodes from Cathy Park Hong's own life, the state of Asian Americans as a conditional part of American society becomes clearer. By examining the history of America's treatment of Asian people and highlighting stories such as Theresa Kyung, Hong emphasizes the importance of bearing witness to these untold narratives. Ultimately, Minor Feelings challenges readers to confront the complexities of race relations and consider the wider historical contexts that shape today's Asian American experience.